Hello, I'm Laurel Anne Hill, and I'm going to be reading from my short story, Fowl Consequences. I drove my Chevy pickup around a curve in Tilden Park. The middle of the night fog hung thick as paste. Gina glared in my direction from the passenger's seat. I managed to glance in return. Her scrunched, black-bead eyes fired virtual death rays at my baby blues. She was pissed. All because I'd pawed her a little at tonight's bash. Hey, she'd started it. First, she'd invited me for a private dip in our host's hot tub. Next, she'd removed the top of her bikini in the spa. I'm talking about the same gal who believed dancing was only for married couples. What crazy part of the world did Gina call home? At least she didn't know I'd snapped a revealing shot of her amazing body when she'd closed her eyes and taken a slow, deep breath. If I couldn't touch, I damn well wanted to remember the looking part for a long time. A car approached from the opposite direction on the two-lane road, the first vehicle I'd seen since entering the park. The idiot drove with his brights full blast. In this soup? Like, get real? Ricocheting beams forced my eyeballs to veer right. Bling on Gina's filmy black fantasy dress sparkled, her shoulders bare except for narrow straps. Metallic green streaks in her brown hair glistened like exotic feathers. Even her long chiffon sleeves, joined to her dress at the level of her low-cut neckline, rippled with sensual waves. The temperature inside this old Chevy bucket of bolts turned toasty. Time to concentrate on the road. The vehicle passed. Did I see a feather-studded jacket on the dude behind the wheel? Wow, a full moon, even when hidden, could sure bring out the weirdos. My hands gripped the steering wheel. Still no word out of Gina. Nothing any full moon could do about that. Right before the midnight hot tub disaster, Gina and I had held hands and watched funky horror DVDs with her friends. Last weekend, we'd rented a pedal boat in the local lake. I hadn't had such a good time going out with a woman since I turned 30. 5 way too long years ago. Now I wanted to take that fun Gina out again. I needed to break the silence. I told you, I said. I'm sorry. Except you're not all that sorry, Harry. She pouted her full red lips. You don't seem to understand. Looking at me is a free gift, but touching like you did without permission has consequences. And you took that picture without my consent, too. Damn, I hadn't realized she'd seen me do the photo. Now what was I going to say? Delete the picture. I tossed her my cell phone. I never intended to post it anywhere but on my imagination. So crows the rooster, she shrugged. I thought you had real regard for my feelings. I thought you were different from all those other men I've met. I liked you well enough to trust you some, to show you part of the real me, and you let me down. Whoa. I had messed up big time. My brain shipped warmth to my face. How could I turn liked back into like? I promise, I said, not to act so clueless again. There's no return, she said, once you step off the path of acceptable behavior. Besides, if you were a woman, wouldn't you want men to treat you with respect? Please, I leaned back in my seat. My leather jacket squeaked. Give me another chance. Gina let out a lengthy sigh. She sounded more frustrated than forgiving. My stomach knotted and my shoulders sagged. Some soft music might help ease the tension. I switched on my iPod. Incredible by the Shapeshifters led the song Shuffle. How did that lively piece end up on this particular playlist? Oh well, the song wouldn't last long, nor would the rest of this date. In less than half an hour, I dropped Gina off in Lafayette and head home to Berkeley. Would she relent and let me see her again? At least I'd emailed myself that photo of her. Oh my God! Gina had my phone. If she found that email, any chance to mend our relationship would turn deader than dead. I rounded another curve. Damn, it was hard to see the road in this murky haze. Something huge darted across my path. A flurry of brown and red shimmered in my low beams. What the shit? I swerved. Gina screamed. My foot slammed on the brake. The truck skidded, spun around, then came to a spine-jarring halt. What the hell had I nearly hit, or had it tried to hit me? Gina leaned against the side window, her hands cradled her cheeks and chin. At least the airbags hadn't deployed and complicated matters. You okay, Gina? Her skin never had much color. Hard to tell if she'd gone into shock. Don't know yet, she said. My head's still all weird. Gina's head was always weird. Came from being a 25-year-old virgin, an unhealthy state of non-affairs. I'm dizzy, she added, and my stomach's horrid. Would you help me climb down? Gina hadn't drunk much wine at the party. If she ended up barfing, though, better to have her use the side of the road. I parked, then turned off the engine, leaving the lights on. I opened the door and slid out of the Chevy. My shin banged against metal. A good thing I wore jeans. And my Nikes met hard, dry ground. My ankle turned. How had I managed to do that? My groan blended with a gobbling sound. Wild turkeys, those winged invaders, were everywhere in the East Bay these days, like they planned to take over the world. Except wild turkeys probably limited their planning to eating and mating. Some horny Tom may even have dashed across the road a few minutes ago to meet up with his hot date. The headlights dimmed. My sick car battery turned sicker. I grabbed a halogen spotlight from behind the seat, then reached in and turned off the truck's lights. Are you all right in the dark? I said to Gina, who remained slumped against the passenger door. I guess so, she replied. Harry? Yes. Did you ever wish, she burped and hand-cranked the window down a couple inches, that you could change what you are? Or stop the inevitable? Yeah, I replied. Where was this line of conversation going? Me too, she said, her voice soft. The turkey sounds came from multiple directions. The guys gobbling, the gals yelping and cackling. Wait a minute. I used to watch the Nature Channel. These birds weren't night prowlers. They ought to be asleep in the trees. I pushed the lights on button and checked out the fog-cloaked surroundings. Pines, eucalyptus, other trees and bushes. Not a turkey in sight. The gobbling grew louder. Super creepy. I limped around the front of my vehicle and navigated to the passenger's side door. I heard a soft thunk. Gina had pushed down the locks on her side and mine. Hey, I said, open up. I wish I could. She clutched my cell phone in one hand and her switched-on keychain flashlight in the other. I grasped the door handle and shined the halogen lamp into the truck. Her dark eyes sparkled. The rest of her expression didn't. A bad feeling iced my already chilly bones.